The galaxy's most feared force, the Zorathian Galactic Empire, had not encountered an adversary worthy of their wrath in over a century. The Empire's fleet, vast and unyielding, loomed over every star system it conquered, leaving devastation in its wake. Planets that dared to defy the Emperor's will were reduced to ashes, their populations crushed beneath the boot of the Empire's brutal might. To challenge them was to invite annihilation. Yet here they were, poised on the edge of the Terran system, preparing for what would surely be their most glorious conquest. The Terran's humans had made a name for themselves across the galaxy as reckless, volatile, and disturbingly resilient. But in the eyes of the Zorathian commanders, the humans were little more than an insignificant blip on the galactic scale. Admiral Kalthar Zorath, Supreme Commander of the Zorathian fleet, surveyed the holographic display as his warships, towering, obsidian-colored behemoths, positioned themselves for a strike on Earth's homeworld. His sharp, angular features twisted into a cruel grin as he observed the human fleet on his tactical screen. "So this is the fabled Terran fleet," Zorath scoffed. "A handful of ships. Pathetic." His second-in-command, Admiral Artinas, a towering reptilian with scales that glistened like emeralds, nodded in agreement. "We should have no trouble annihilating them. We could destroy their fleet in an hour." Zorath's eyes glinted with malicious satisfaction. "Perhaps, but let us make it entertaining for them. Let them feel the weight of their foolish pride." As the Zorathian fleet advanced, the humans on the Terran flagship, the Exodus, were preparing for the impossible. On the bridge, Captain Elara Miles stood with a calm, unwavering demeanor, her short-cropped hair catching the light of the control panels. She had seen this before, the smug superiority of an enemy that thought they had already won. "You heard them, didn't you?" Miles said, her voice cool but carrying an undercurrent of amusement. Lieutenant Royce, her right-hand officer, nodded. "They think we're just an appetizer." Miles smiled, a slow, confident smile. "Let's give them a feast." The Exodus was no ordinary warship. Unlike the massive behemoths of the Zorathian fleet, the Terran vessels were sleek and agile, designed for quick strikes and rapid evasion. They weren't built for the long, drawn-out battles the Zorathians thrived on. They were built to make every moment a brutal, precise engagement. "Set the course for their flagship," Miles ordered. "We'll make them regret underestimating us." As the Terran fleet advanced, the Zorathian commanders watched in disbelief. The human ships were small, fast, and unpredictable, darting around the much larger Zorathian warships like hornets. The first strike came without warning, a full barrage of hypervelocity missiles, launched from the Exodus and its fleet, piercing the Zorathian shield systems like paper. The missiles tore through the first Zorathian cruiser, causing massive explosions that lit up the void. The Zorathian fleet commander's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. They shouldn't have the firepower to penetrate our shields. But it was only the beginning. From the Exodus's tactical station, Miles watched with satisfaction as the Zorathian fleet scrambled to adjust. Their ships were built for power, but the humans were playing a different game. The human ships zoomed and weaved through the incoming fire like a swarm of wasps, dodging every plasma shot with the precision of a dancer. The Zorathians had the strength, but the humans had the speed, the ingenuity, and, most importantly, the will to never back down. The Terran ships released swarms of drones, tiny, highly maneuverable combat units that buzzed through the battlefield, striking Zorathian warships at weak points. The drones weren't just weapons, they were a symbol of humanity's creativity and resourcefulness. Each was armed with devastating EMP charges designed to disable entire fleets. But the humans didn't just rely on brute force. The Exodus was a masterpiece of engineering, equipped with experimental cloaking technology and stealth capabilities. In the heat of battle, the ship disappeared from the enemy sensors, reappearing behind the largest Zorathian flagship in a blink. A few well-placed shots from its ion cannons severed the flagship's communications array, rendering the enemy's fleet blind and disorganized. On the Zorathian flagship, Zorath's face twisted in fury. "This is absurd," he roared. "We are the conquerors of the galaxy. How are these insignificant insects winning?" His second-in-command, Artinas, was equally stunned. "Their ships are too fast. We can't hit them." "Retreat," Zorath barked. "Regroup and form defensive lines. We cannot lose to these." But the Zorathians were too late. The human fleet wasn't just outclassing them in tactics and firepower. They were demoralizing them. The Zorathians, once so proud, began to falter under the onslaught. The Terrans were relentless, and every Zorathian ship that fell seemed to fuel the next wave of attacks. On the Exodus's bridge, Captain Miles turned to her crew, her eyes gleaming with pride. "Let's remind them who we are. Finish this." With a final devastating blow, the flagship Vengeance, a symbol of human, might launched its primary weapon, a powerful quantum torpedo that ripped through the Zorathian flagship's core. The explosion lit up the dark void like a second sun, signaling the collapse of the once mighty Zorathian fleet. As the last Zorathian ship retreated into deep space, Captain Miles smiled. "Humanity may not have the largest fleet, but we've got something the galaxy will never understand. We fight like hell, and we never give up." Lieutenant Royce chuckled. "And we have a damn good sense of humor." Back in the Zorathian capital, word of the defeat spread quickly. Emperor XL Wrath, leader of the Galactic Empire, stood in his war room, staring out at the endless stars before him. His fist clenched in rage. "They defeated us." "But how?" he seethed. One of his advisors spoke nervously. "It seems the Terrans are more than just a nuisance, Your Excellency." "Perhaps they are. The future." Emperor XL Wrath didn't respond. He was too lost in his fury and disbelief. He had underestimated the humans, and that would be his final mistake. In the Terran system, the humans celebrated. Not just a victory, but a message to the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were here to stay. Image prompt for AI art generator. A fierce space battle scene with a sleek Terran flagship Exodus darting through space, surrounded by Zorathian battleships. The Terran ships are fast, maneuvering like hornets, while the Zorathian ships are massive and imposing. In the background, an explosion tears apart a Zorathian flagship, with stars and nebulae illuminating the chaos. The Terran fleet, small but relentless, clashes with the much larger Zorathian fleet. Dynamic action, intense lighting, and a mix of sleek human tech versus massive alien warships. Let me know if you'd like any edits or further details. 4.0 Mini